You are listening to Scars and Guitars on 4ZZZ, Z Digital, and also via my podcast series. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith, and I hope, wherever you are in the world and whatever you're doing, you are doing very well. You're about to listen to my conversation with Steve and Adam, two of the blokes that make up the trio in Perth-based experimental music troupe Intenso. We talk about all sorts of things. It's quite a hilarious discussion, and the guys have a pretty offbeat, off-kilter sense of humour, but I like that. I really do enjoy that. So let's cut to the discussion. Here they are, Steve and Adam from the band Intenso. All right, lads, I'll kick things off. Welcome to the show. Can one of you tell me, or both of you, tell me, first about the concept behind the band, as I understand that you create music using drums and percussion, Rhodes piano, and samples. That's it.
Yeah, that's the instrumentation. Going back to the original setup, it was about an idea of improvised music, no stylistic considerations. So we just entered into a track or a song and see where it would go. And in those early days, we were using Roland 404s, Rose piano, and drums, normal drums. These days we're sort of expanding a little bit more. We're sort of getting into the more modular synth, and Adam should talk about that side a bit more. But so we're getting more modular synths. I've been with the Rhodes, been adding some also some MIDI kind of controller sort of VST style synth stuff as well, just to sort of expand our sounds. But the modular synths is really the biggest difference from the early days right now.
Okay, so Lee sent me a copy of the album released in 2017 called The Slow Cataclysm of Neglect. Now, I love it, but for somebody that has yet to hear your music, say you're at a party or a family gathering, something like that, how would you describe the sounds contained on the album?
Go ahead.
How would we describe that one? Well, I mean, like there wasn't any modular on that one either, so that would have been, from my perspective, it's pretty organic, I think. But I mean, I don't know how much that would explain the thing. It's quite rhythmic. There's maybe a bit. Would you say it's a bit more beatsy in? Some of the tracks have something of a beat. It's a bit more rhythmic.
Yeah, there's rhythmic, but there's also some more downer tracks which are a little more ethereal and exploratory. And then they juxtaposed against more faster and beat orientated tracks.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, which is just the way it seemed to come out. I mean, it wasn't intentional. That wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're just making it up as we go.
Yeah, nothing really is that intentional. It's the nature of the animal, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very unusual setup, isn't it? I mean, I can name I can't really name anybody more prominent than Alan Vega. Now, are you guys familiar with Alan Vega and the band Suicide?
Somebody mentioned Alan Vega to me the other day, but I didn't know.
No, not that familiar, no.
You guys would love his stuff. He's one of my favourite artists of all time. So when he was in Suicide, he used to scare the living daylights out of the punks by going up on stage and playing. There was a drum kit and there was a synth. That was it. And he used to bring up a rusty bike chain on stage. He used to slam it into the ground and terrify all of the crusty punks with mohawks and stuff, He's a bit older than everybody else. Wow. He's probably in his late 30s or 40s when punk broke, because he only died a couple of years ago at the ripe old age of 79 or 80 or something. But he is playing music that I think you are a spiritual cousin to.
Wow. Okay, we definitely would be checking that out, yeah.
Yeah, dude, his solo stuff. Yeah, his solo stuff I just love. It's a bit more poppy, but some of the stuff he did with Suicide, I can't remember the name of the album. It might just be self-titled. I reckon you guys will get right into that. You know that, and I guess my next point would be around that. I mean, Alan Vega, he's an underground success story, so there's certainly hope from the perspective that your music could achieve a wider audience. Do you agree with that?
Well, we hope so. We can't change who we are, but we do hope that eventually more people will get it or like it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like wholly conceptual or anything because it is odd and because it's improvised and there's sort of a dynamic that we work within. We almost shackled ourselves a bit, you know, by, I mean, it's freeing, but it's also quite binding, you know what I mean? To improvise purely because, you know, I mean, anyone that's done it, you can do anything you want, but sometimes there's
sometimes too many choices ruins it. You actually go nowhere when you got too many choice.
Yeah, and I mean, to get to your question, we have been together for 9 years or something?
Yeah, 9 years now.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
8 or 9 years.
So it's a long time, and there's sort of like the areas of relationships and the language and things like that. And I think it's evolving and progressing.
Yeah,
so
language is the word. It's about a language between us, the three of us, when we play.
Has the band
is
been
it more accessible? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Sorry.
Have you guys been in the lineup that you've got now, the three of you, for 9 years?
Yeah.
More or less, yeah.
2009, I think.
Yeah, it's almost 10 years. Wow.
Yeah.
9 years, but yeah, of course, yeah, sorry. But
Yeah.
man, that's incredible. How have you managed to stay together and not murder each other?
Oh, we've been pretty close.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
There's been a bit of sparring. Yeah.
Well, I guess
There have been some broken bones, I think, actually, haven't there? I believe you might have broken a rib or something.
Yeah, those boys have broken my ribs before. I had to get an X-ray on my spleen just in case it was a bit ruptured.
Sure.
But it was okay. It was just a precautionary thing. But yeah, we do like to get a little bit violent sometimes. But I guess it's about trust at the end of the day, and we do that because we trust each other. We're brothers. We found each other somehow.
Was that sparring session? It wasn't over something like who has the strawberry ice cream and the Neapolitan ice cream tub, was it? It was over something significant, I hope, wasn't it? To essentially get an injury like that.
No, even less so. I mean, it was an exercise in self-defense. And I mean, it wasn't from aggressive purposes. It was just we just fought each other because we like to have a fight. For no other reason.
Yeah.
and
there might have been some whiskey involved. I mean, that's possible.
It's kind of like having a jam with someone as well. If you stand toe to toe with someone, you're jamming with them. You're conversating with them, even though it's maybe with your fists or something. But
yeah,
you're going back and forth. You're sharing stuff. You're reacting. You're reacting on stuff, and it's not that different to playing music. The way that
I think that's right. Yeah, we don't want to hurt each other. It's kind of like pushing each other out of out of your comfort zones and conditioning and seeing,
so it inspires
where you
to
can
be...
go. And like you said, you do that on stage and you do it when we play, and so we do it in the kitchen at 3 a.m. sometimes as well. But it's the same outcome,
The creative process inspires you to get physical. Is that what it is? Or
yeah,
is it...
exactly right. That's right. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that before. I've actually legitimately heard of that before. And you're all brothers now. I take it more so than friends, are you? You're just going to be around each other probably for the rest of your lives.
We need each other. I think we know. Yeah. I think we know that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is. The music that you're playing is very unique, isn't it? Especially for Australia. And I'm going to touch on this next point because I'm going to congratulate you. So I know it was last year. So as much as it might be a cool thing to downplay winning awards in indie circles. It really must have been a thrill to win the Wham Song of the Year in the experimental category for for last year, with the track As Steadfast as the Ether itself. So, talk to us about that. I mean, is that something that really inspires you and is exciting to be recognised by your peers and by judges for having? I mean, it's a great track, by the way, from a really bloody good album. So, I don't know who else it was nominated against, but it must be a wonderful thing to win.
We love that competition. We love everything about it. And you're right. It's not easy for us to get gigs at times, and we don't gig maybe as much as we'd like to. And so when these competitions come up, and I mean, we've been nominated a lot of times. We've won it. We won it last year, and we won it maybe 2 years ago.
2015, I think it was.
Yeah, for a different track. And apart from that, that's our pretty much our only recognition. A lot of the time for that year. slowly.
It's encouraging. It's encouraging.
It encourages us. It encourages us to keep going. I mean, it's not the be all and end all. We do our stuff because we just do it because that's what we do. But at the same time, yeah, you're right. It's really nice to get that sort of feedback to say that you guys are doing all right.
Yeah, I agree totally. That's a really good way of putting it. It's people giving you acknowledgement and going, "Hey guys, keep doing what you're doing because you're doing all right." So
yeah.
So in terms of a follow-up release to what is a very strong album of experimental and instrumentally based music, what are the plans?
Well, yeah, actually, funny you ask. We're pretty much already started the next album. Maybe, Ad, do you want to talk about our new approaching things?
Yeah, well, we are just basically writing. We're writing, which it's pretty funny that it's actually quite cathartic to do it, and we've really been enjoying it. But it's sort of silly because that's how everybody makes music. So it's like took us this long to realize, we can do that as well.
Yeah.
We've been writing for like a concept album called Detroitus. Detroitus sort of a play on detritus and the sort of state of Detroit currently. Yes. I don't know if everyone really knows about that. But it just
I know. I've been reading about it. Yeah, I just read about it in my late night internet trawling. But yeah, what was the inspiration behind diving into that subject matter?
It just came, through like past my sort of, I read something about it, and I don't know why, but I just couldn't really get my head around the idea that a first world country could happen there, and so it got stuck in my, in my web, and then I just was thinking about it like a lot, and also like there's a lot of positive things coming out of Detroit as well. Like there's a lot of youth and self-generated projects.
Yeah, totally.
It's really positive. So it's not like we're all just trying to shine a light on some post-apocalyptic fucking town and say like, oh, this is so terrible, we're going to make doom rock or something. But it's a place that's in flux. It's just really, really quite interesting because it was just like the fifth biggest like place in the US like years ago, whatever it was.
Yeah, maybe 60s, 70s or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's just in free fall sort of, and so we just thought, well, I mean, what about a concept album? It felt like the time to do it because we've done the first two. We're not really changing everything that we started changing what we do for this record, but not, not sort of for all time. It's just sort of a nice conceptual idea to explore it, and it's a little bit like soundtracking as well, I guess, when you say.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the approach when we say we're writing, we're not sort of writing out chords or verse chorus stuff because I mean that's just not what we do. But when we write about a song, we actually write a narrative about what the song could be or what we're trying to describe the actual
almost like a scene. And
a scene.
Soundtrack it. We'll play.
That then feeds into. It feeds into the improv or feeds into the conversation of playing together, and we've got something in our mind about what we're trying to achieve with this, rather than where previously we're just working on instinct and reactions.
Instinct and reactions.
That's pretty right.
Yeah, instinct and reactions. Now, that ties in very nicely to when you say you're doing a lot of improvisation. So what do you do? Use verbal cues? Or how do you guys know that you're taking it? I mean, I'm a musician myself, okay, but I play traditional instrumentation, bass guitar and six-string guitar. So I haven't been a part of too much on purpose, ad-lib and all the rest of it. It really doesn't go according to plan. I think you guys alluded to sometimes you can go down these very dark paths from which you cannot return and it just does not sound musical anymore. How do you guys keep it? So on that note, how do you keep it musical? What is it? Verbal cues? Do you throw things at each other to keep people on track, or how do you do it?
There's a lot of post-mortem, I guess, where we'll discuss what's just happened, or we'll discuss what could have happened.
Like after we play, that is, like, or even after a track or something, yeah.
And we often, I mean, we set rules that we never follow. Things about even things like listening to each other.
That's true.
Stuff like that. Because it's essentially there's three people. It's three people in the band, and we're all pouring in, and then we have to make a thread, and we have to find coherence. I mean, we've got a song sensibility. At the end of the day, I think we all have that. We all love music that's more commercial and non-commercial, but we have that kind of sensibility. So we're not trying to be unlistenable, but we're not trying to be listenable purposely as well. If the paradox.
Yeah, that's about right.
I think I've got to burst your bubble a little bit. I find you incredibly listenable, but then I love a lot of abstract music. That you're one experimental band that I've been able to put on around my children. And that they don't yell at me to turn it off because it's crap.
Don't do that.
Well, I'm an indie journalist, and I'm constantly doing reviews and interviews and so much engagement with musicians. And the only way that I can listen to a lot of music is because when I'm looking after the two girls, is if I put the music on in the background as accompaniment. And sometimes I can even sense their mood changing, when a certain piece gets on, like if I'm listening to too much heavy metal or what have you, not they get more aggressive or anything, but their energy levels lift. But with your music, I noticed they're quite happy sitting down and drawing and painting.
Wow, man, wow.
Yeah, that's nice and very bizarre.
That's two interesting things, because one is there's a recent report that came out that I saw that said that like heavy music actually incites euphoria, or actually helps your mental state.
Yeah, I read that. I think I read the same thing.
So that's amazing for one, and then the second is just the fact that your kids are drawing and being creative, listening to our music. Holy crap, man! That's amazing.
Yeah, look,
that's nice. It's quite nice.
And when I've been doing administration work for my business as well, I've had your music on the headphones, just turned down real low, but it's still there. It's very. What I like about your music, and a lot of experimental music, most of it comes across as noise. Go and listen to anything that Mike Patton's done in your spare time, for example. Yours is eminently listenable. It's not obtrusive. You understand what I mean by that? It doesn't intrude into what you're doing. You know what I mean? I can have it on in the car and I can talk to my wife or what have you.
It's an accompaniment.
It is. It's like jazz. It's a cliche. We often say about things that are very musical that it's like jazz, but your music is very much like jazz, and I'm a massive jazz aficionado. I've got a vinyl collection of jazz records. John Coltrane, Charlie Parker, and I just put them on whenever I get home to make me feel more at peace.
Well, I think we're listening to Love Supreme at about 3:30 last night.
Love Supreme, yeah. Oh man, does it get better than that?
That is what happens. Shit.
That's a true story.
Yeah, that is true. I just got home. The place is a fucking mess.
You guys live with each other?
But no, we don't live with each other. But we rehearse on. We've been writing on Wednesday nights. Pretty much all year, which is
pretty much
a while now, and that's good because it's hard to coordinate 3 people, and we can get. I mean, if you don't get together and play, it's just no
constantly.
Good. So we've been locking that in, and but we all live in different ends of Middle Earth.
Yeah.
Let's talk about tours and the way you can promote your music. What plans have you got? Are you going offshore and doing some showcases or some gigs in the States or Europe?
Oh yeah, we've always had a plan to hit Asia for some reason. It's always been something for us, but it's hard to promote a band like this. I guess at times, we say we've been together for 9 years, but maybe people only known us maybe for the last 2 or 3 years, or 3 years, because of just the nature of the music we do and the fact that you don't often get gigs for this kind of music, or putting together a lineup that it would suit. But touring is something we'd really love to do. Probably be our first thing we probably try to do is maybe just like a local, regional tour, and then start thinking about maybe either Europe or Asia, actually.
Asia's a very smart move.
It seems like they would be receptive. I don't know. It just seems that way.
I've spent a lot of time offshore in Asia and in the Philippines specifically. Yeah, you're actually onto something there. I've been talking to a lot of Australian artists about this very thing. It's on our doorstep. Indonesia and Malaysia are massive markets for music, and they do like Australian music and Australian artists, by the way. We just don't seem to have the managerial contacts there. We seem to constantly think of the English-speaking countries or the countries where they readily speak English, such as the Western European countries. But Asia's here, mate, or lads, and the Philippines is a really good place to start. you know, you might break even you might not break even the first couple of times you go over there in terms of you might not get back what your
No,
airfare
but that's what
costs.
grants are for, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. You've just got to get smart about it and just look around you. But what I've heard is from Australian artists, and there is a few Australian artists that are making a very, very good, more than comfortable living touring Asia and making and releasing music over there. You've probably never heard of before. Yeah, and you guys could do it.
Yeah, they're big. That's right. They're big in other countries, so you don't hear about them in your local countries. It's quite common.
Yeah, well, an artist in a completely different genre and style and even era is Tina Arena. So, yeah, she had some success here, but she went to France.
She was,
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So
She went to where?
France was the country she's
Arena
very
was
big
huge in Spain.
in. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there was
We don't have any lyrics too, so I mean that's kind of it's fairly accessible in a non-English speaking country because that's not going to be a barrier. There's no.
Well, that's it. Well,
funny, as you've always wanted to go to Philippines, right?
Yeah, I strangely have. It's quite Americanized, I think, because it was probably colonized, no doubt. I don't know.
From the Second World War, I think.
Colonized by the Spanish, but more or less, I mean, they had no choice. The Americans had to come in and put their bases there, otherwise the Japanese basically did steamroll great parts of the Philippines. But it's a bit of a mix of, it's probably 1/10 Spanish culture, 7/10 Southeast Asian culture, and about 2/10 American. You know, it's the American influence.
And the most mental thing is it's about 100 million people in the Philippines.
Spread across 400 islands. Right? Yeah, and it's you feel
and every second person is an Elvis impersonator. I've heard.
I didn't see that.
Is that true? Yeah, maybe that was manufactured, that memory. I'm not sure.
Well, they've got a lot of nightclubs over there too. They're very big on their music in the Philippines. You know, it's as I say, it's not just there. It's all of Southeast Asia, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, especially Thailand. My God, you know, you guys have got a treat in Thailand with all of the nightclubs they've got there and the port resort towns like Phuket and Koh Samui.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
You know, food for thought. I love it. I love it when Australian artists, especially like you guys, do really well in that very narrow lane, but it does exist. It is there.
But I mean, when you go to a country like that, do you promote yourself as experimental if you're going into a nightclub, or you just play your music, Australian music, and just go with it and see what happens?
You just be yourself. That's been my experience with it. Just be yourself. So promote yourself. Reach out to. I think the way you do it is you'd find out who is a relatively credible promoter, and look, you'd probably get ripped off half of the time. Okay, so you've got to sort of accept the good with the bad. Okay,
especially when you're the first time, and that.
Yeah, a lot of bands don't get paid when they turn up to do gigs, but then you've got to look at it as an experience. You know, I know.
Absolutely. And opportunities and things. Yeah.
Yeah, and
we really have not had much experience with being paid anyway. So I mean, no, I'm not saying it wouldn't be nice, but it's not a precedent. Yeah.
Oh, it's ridiculous in this country. It's ridiculous everywhere. Okay, I'll say that. Maybe not in North America because it's a bit more settled there in terms of you can comfortably. A lot of people comfortably
larger
afford.
population.
Oh yeah, it's an economic and commercial bonanza over there. But here in Australia, it's a goddamn joke. Like I'll be making sure you guys get paid from AMRAP or whoever it is because I'll list your song on my radio show, so as they get whatever royalties you owed that way. And it's probably 1/10 of a cent. Of a cent that you'll get a check for.
Yeah.
Actually, you'll probably. I shouldn't. I might not. I probably shouldn't do it because you'll probably get sent the bill for the stamp, that the envelope telling you what the actual royalty check would be.
There'll be a difference.
Yeah, there'll be a net deficit of something like 29 cents or whatever a stamp costs these days. God, I don't know when the last time I sent a letter was, but. Yeah, look, it's food for thought for you guys. You know, I believe in you guys, and I think the sort of music you're creating can cross over so-called cultural, even religious boundaries because there's no lyrics. So you're not got anything that directly influences anything else. So you can't. What I'm saying is, you're not offensive to some people's sensitivities.
Unobtrusive, like you said before. And without sounding like a hippie or something. I mean, the music is from the heart, right? This is you can't fake this kind of stuff. You have to just. There's no hesitation. You have to give it. And if you're tentative, this music doesn't really work.
Agreed. You can't hesitate.
It is conceptual, but it's not. We're not trying to be conceptual. It just can be conceptual. You know what I mean? We're not standing there with a triangle, or sitting in a teepee, like using it as a Walkman, playing tapes backwards and stuff. We're not trying to do that. These are just instruments that we play, and it's the dynamic that works for us. So that's what we do.
Don't answer this question if you don't want, but I'm gonna frame it I don't know how I can describe it. I'm going to replace some words here, okay? But do you guys need to potentially, maybe, sometimes get into an altered state of mind, if you know where I'm headed, to create the music you do?
All I can hear is static. But yeah, potentially. I mean, well, definitely, but not always. And we
definitely, but not always.
We definitely looked at the prospect of, like, don't make that something that you have to do, because otherwise that's also quite lame. You know what I mean? I think so. What would you say?
I agree. Yeah, I mean, look at it. Just the stimulation or the inspiration can come from many different things, and yeah, certainly, getting altered state-wise gives you one aspect, but also, talking deeply about current issues or where that make you feel emotional, that also helps. We did something the other day. We've already started recording the third album with an engineer. He showed us one of his own gigs where he basically was on an experimental gig and basically went fuck you to everybody there and just went wild on it. And we watched that, and then we recorded straight after that and just performed this totally. Well, it's up on SoundCloud now. Actually, it's called The One, and that came out of that. So there's many different ways for us to get there. But yeah, I mean, I think what you're touching on is certainly helps, makes things easier. But yeah, it's not. It can't be the only way.
Well, as Doug Stanhope says, there's only two types of people that are against using mind-altering substances, or you could use the other word, which I won't use. And that the two types of people are the people that suck at doing them and the people that have never done them. You know that? And so much of judgment in society comes from a place of ignorance, as we all know, right? And people who have never tried some of these things and don't understand the wonderful, how do you describe it? What you sense and feel when you can be under the influence, especially if you're a creative type like what all three of us are as musicians. It gives us access to things. The Beatles, Pink Floyd, some of the greatest music ever recorded, Led Zeppelin. It would never have happened.
The Church.
Yeah, the Church.
I think
Steve
Bill Hicks
Kilby
said that same thing last night. We were up quite late last night. We also watched some Bill Hicks, and he said something not, dissimilar to that. It's like these people weren't, they were, his great heroes. They weren't drinking cordial and things like that.
Yeah. Oh, what's his name?
To enjoy the music.
Philip K. Dick.
Philip K. Dick, no. Bill Hicks, I was thinking, yeah.
Bill Hicks, yeah. George Carlin, Bill Hicks, legends.
It should be the premise, that's all. It's not the premise. And it's, we play depending on how we do feel as well. Like, we had a really good gig at the Rosemount Hotel a few months back. Was it? Like,
and end of last year, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just, I think Chuck was really pissed off and half drunk that night. Like, I don't know why he was. and I don't remember how we were feeling, but he just... Sorry?
It was a complete belter.
He played like an animal, and it was one of the best sets I feel like we've ever done live, because we wormholed. We've got this thing called a wormhole when you get into the wormhole, and it's like you're in your living room or you're in the zone, basically. And once you realize you're in the zone, you're not in the zone anymore. We entered it, and we don't do that on stage all the time. I mean, it's like you blink and you can miss it. And that just came from three people coming together from whatever had happened in their day. And so that, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of exciting. It's like, different chemicals mixing with each other. No previous pun intended.
No, but I get it. You're performing through your emotional lens, I think is what you're saying as well. It's whatever emotion that you're feeling at the time, mining that to produce some kind of a performance. Now, you might not always pull it off, and you use a really interesting word there. You talk about a wormhole. I call it the vortex, okay? As a musician, sometimes when you're so deep into the zone and you just, especially for me as a bass player, I'm playing some funk and disco bass lines, and the funk, and I'm just sliding up and down the neck, right up to the 12th fret, coming back down. The drummer's hitting the tom and the snare at the same time when I need him to hit it when I'm doing a pop instead of a slap. And it just all comes together, and it gives you like a euphoric feeling, doesn't it? It just activates the serotonin.
and it does transport you somewhere else. It makes you feel like as though you're playing about 2 or 3 feet off the ground.
And you can miss it as well, because if it's going really well, it's like, shit, that was quick, because, you know, you just popped out the other side, but when it's gone badly, like, that's a long gig, you know what I mean? And that's, you know, obvious, I guess.
Yeah, I've done a lot of those in my time, the long gigs, playing to drunken punters in Coolum Hotel or wherever it might be, and, you know, actively sneering at you because they've got to talk louder than what they ordinarily might at home, because they've got to talk louder over at your playing, you know. But you just suffer through it because you get paid. Oh, look, it's playing covers music, you know. It's not originals, it's covers music. So you're effectively the soundtrack to people's drinking. That's all you really are in that situation. I mean, you can approach it, you know, I'm not being negative about it, but that's what it ends up actually being.
Yeah, we played some fucking pretty unsatisfying gigs, that's for sure. I mean, our first launch was a bit of a disaster, really. We played the Buffalo Club in Frio, and it just didn't go terribly well.
No,
it was a bomb. I mean, in some ways, it was lucky we really didn't advertise it properly, and not many people came because it wasn't. But you know, who knows if that's half the reason it wasn't good, you know, to begin with. But
okay,
I don't know. We learned from that, and then the next one went quite well. I think it went. We launched Slow Cataclysm last year, like late
end of September last year. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
And it's like, you know, I think some people enjoyed it. I mean, I wouldn't say there were loads and loads and loads of people there, but I mean, you know, I think Pax used to say it's like, well, we're here, you know, the people that are here, so don't discount who is there and who is enjoying it, you know, and just talk past them and say, oh, well, no one's here, like, you know, because that's kind of a shitty thing to do as well.
Yeah. No, I hear you, lads. Hey, look, I better wrap things up. Tell the listener, if they want to get in touch with you, obviously you got Facebook, because I've just liked that page there, but how do they get into your music? Are you on Apple Music, Spotify, and all of the other, whatever the other streaming services might be that are available?
Yeah, we're on all the digital stuff. So, yeah, if you look on the Spotify, I guess you look up Intenso, just shift through the Italian country band and shift through some kind of...
stuff is not us.
South America, I think, or something. But, yeah, we're there.
Coffee as well, it's got Intenso. That's not us.
Yeah, both our albums are up on... you'll notice from the artwork, we're completely different from all the other Intensos. Yeah, there's a couple of albums up there. You can also look on Bandcamp, look up the Intenso band, SoundCloud, the Intenso band. We normally put up sort of like jams or really new stuff on the SoundCloud, and we just, you know, kind of move those sort of songs through. So we've got a little YouTube channel as well. That's called Intenso. Or Intenso Band or something.
I've watched
a few videos in there and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you've done some gigs at home, just for the listeners' sake. Yeah, have a look at those videos actually, because they do help a listener make more sense of your music when you can actually see how you guys are performing it. That's what I found it did for me. It demystified a bit of it.
Right.
You know.
It's a physical. It is a physical way of playing, and I guess that's why it spills over into things like sparring and stuff. But yeah, we play with our hearts on our sleeves, I suppose.
All right, lads. Thank you very much. Good luck with it all, and hope to see you over here on the.
Thank you so much for your support and thank you so much for your kind words. So happy to hear that someone out there is liking our stuff.
Well, you've got at least one.
Yeah, it's only mildly surprising, but it's really nice. It's good.
Yeah, my pleasure, mate. My pleasure, lads. Yeah, just keep on creating the music that you are. I look forward to your next release.
You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith, and that was my conversation with Stephen Adam from the band Intenso. Thank you so much for listening.